get away from. Abram's first test of faith, back in chapter 12, came from famine. The first test of faith that he had came because of famine. Came through famine. His second test came from his own family. Lord, I could camp out here for a while. Family tests are most times the hardest test of all. It's family test. Your family, those that you love dearest, those that you grew up with, those that you bore life to, your children, sometimes your grandchildren, those that you love that are nearest and dearest to your heart, sometimes will challenge your faith the most of anything. They're the hardest test many times, because many times your family will ask you to compromise the Word of God that you're trying to live by. And sometimes it's painful to tell them, let them know, look, I can't help how you feel about this. I can't help how you feel about that. I'm sorry that it's that way, but the Word of God conveys to me what I must do and how I must live. And therefore, I will not compromise the Word of God. I will not transgress the Word of God just to make you happy as a family member. The world is constantly asking God's people to make compromise. And it seems like it's even worse when it's our own family asking us to do that. When our own family is asking us to compromise what we believe and how we believe. Like I said, I could camp out here for a while. One of the biggest things nowadays is this thing about, well, if you don't condone my lifestyle, you don't love me. That's a lie. I wish every Christian would understand and grasp that's a lie from the enemy. Well, if you really love me, I know you're my uncle. But if you really love me, you're my cousin, or you may be my dad, or you may be my mom. But if you really love me, you put that conviction aside for just a little bit, and you attend my gay wedding. That's the kind of compromise. Now, there's others as well. That's just one of the biggest examples of today we're in now. I know of things like this happen all the time. Well, if you really love me, you'd lay aside that conviction and you'd honor me with your presence at my gay wedding. First of all, there ain't no such thing as a gay wedding. Saw somebody this week said that so-and-so, they got married, they were gay and they got married. No, they didn't get married. God didn't honor that. God's presence wasn't there. God did not honor that so-called marriage. It is not a marriage. The only marriage that God recognizes, the only marriage that God honors is a marriage between a male and a female. Amen, Pastor Mike. That's the truth. And we are in 2018. That's the truth. Therefore, if God is not going to honor something that the world wants to call a marriage, but it's not a marriage, if God's not going to honor it, why should I? As a man of God, as a child of God, why should I honor it with my presence and condone it with my presence? I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. It may cause hard feelings. I'm sorry. It may cause offense. I'm pretty sure it will. And I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry. I don't know what to say I am. I just regret that that's just the way things are. But that's the way things are. I am not going to compromise what the Word of God instructs me to do, instructs us to do. I'm not going to compromise it just for the sake of not offending someone, even their family. I'm not going to do it. And the problem that some Christians have now, the reason some of them have a lot of problems now, is because they started that compromise years ago. They already started that compromise. Listen, in my family, most people in my family pretty much know on certain days and certain times, I'm going to be at the house of God. certain days, certain times, I'm going to be performing this ministry. I'm going to be performing that ministry. I'm going to be involved in the work of God. So there's no need. Ain't no need for a family to come visit on Sunday morning. They know better than that, you know. Usually we don't have Sunday evening service right now, so a lot of times, except for this afternoon, we got the anniversary service. But you know, most people when we have regular Sunday evening service, they know there's no need to come by for a visit unless you can go to church with me. Amen. So what I'm saying is this: family will test you. It's the hardest test that you will face, because to family, so many times it's just hard to say no. It's hard to say to our family, well, I'm sorry, but that's not how I'm instructed as a child of God through the Word of God. That's not how I'm instructed. I cannot honor that. I cannot condone that. And there are so many that do fall prey. So this year of 2018, make a renewed commitment to God. I won't compromise the Word of God in my life for family or nobody else. I will not. Listen, they may be offended to start with. They may be upset with you to start with. They may be upset with you the rest of your life. That's between them and God. But I'm prone to believe this, that at some juncture, at some point, they'll have a respect for you, that you stood by what was right and what you believed was right, what you knew was right. In the long haul, that's how it's going to pay off. Hallelujah. Like I said, I could camp out there and all